A good salesperson never wants to leave their customer without making the best sale they possibly can. And that means you need to learn the art of the upsell. And for that matter, the cross-sell and the downsell. Upsell, cross-sell, downsell. All three happen after your customer has made the decision to buy or to not buy. So you've done the hard work, and you can use the upsell and the cross-sell to increase the value of the sale that you make. And if you've done the hard work and they decide not to buy, then the downsell is a way to recover the investment you've made in the work by making a smaller sale nonetheless. So, if you want to optimize the value of every sales opportunity, you need to understand the art of how to make an upsell, a cross-sell, or a downsell. So, why do we upsell? Well, the answer is actually quite simple. A large part of the cost of a sale is fixed once you've made the sale. That is to say, there's the cost of the materials, the packaging, the production, the distribution, and the logistics, and any labour costs. But one thing is variable, and that's the cost of acquiring a customer. If you can spread the cost of acquiring a given customer over more and more and more sales and higher value sales, then the unit cost of acquiring that customer goes down. Not only do you make more revenue, you make a better margin. So an upsell is when you persuade a customer to buy a bigger or better, a more expensive product or service than they originally thought they were going to buy. Examples include premium versions of base products, larger packaging, or supersizing, buying an alternative or premium brand, which is relevant if you are a wholesaler or a retailer, or adding in additional items like accessories or extended warranties. So what then is a cross-sell? Well, first, don't confuse cross-sells with upsells, although it would be forgivable if you do because they are quite similar. A cross-sell is when you persuade a customer to buy additional products or services that are just related to the one that they originally intended to buy. You're not selling them something more valuable as a package than they originally intended. You're selling them something else completely. Our example of accessories or extended warranties kind of treads that line. I'm assuming that the accessories go with the product and therefore it's an upsell. But if, for example, I go to a shop and I buy a suit and the salesperson also sells me a shirt and a tie, I think of that as a cross-sell because I don't necessarily need another shirt or tie to make the suit valuable to me. Other examples include things like car insurance, if I've just bought household insurance, or discretionary accessories to go with my new computer or my new tablet. Or better yet, I've just bought a new computer. Why don't I buy one for my wife or my daughter? If there is cross-sell and there's upsell, then surely by logic there should also be downsell. And there is. Let's say I seemed all set to buy a camera, and then I decide, no, I won't buy that camera. Perhaps it's too expensive or I really don't need it. You've invested a lot of time trying to sell me that camera, and now you move to the downsell. If I'm worried about the cost, you could offer me a less impressive model at a lower cost. If I'm not sure whether I really do need a new camera, you could suggest that I improve the one I've already got with a new lens or a bigger memory card. A downsell happens when someone decides not to buy something and you then make an attempt to sell them something else instead that is easier for them to say yes to. it's a downsell because you're reducing the value of the sale. However, since you've already sunk the cost of customer acquisition, then small sales are better than no sales. Upselling, cross-selling, downselling have all been around for as long as there have been human beings trading. But they have become much more prevalent and much easier to spot in the online world. And there are 6 factors that make this inevitable. Firstly, there is tracking. Websites have become adept at tracking users across the internet. And the use of big data to store that information means that organizations now have far better understanding of their individual customers and the products and services they may need, in addition to the ones they've just bought or just decided not to buy. Secondly, the marginal cost of sales and sometimes of fulfillment as well are often much smaller than in the traditional real world, which means that vendors can cut the cost of the upsell, cross-sell or downsell product to make those sales even easier than before. Thirdly, online automation makes it easy to set up these upsells, cross-sells and downsells and make them happen automatically without anyone needing to do anything. Fourth, this automation makes it very easy to create multiple tiers of constant upsells and cross-sells and downsells so that customers get drawn into a cycle of I'll have this, oh, I'll have that as well, oh, I won't have that, oh, but I could have that. You've experienced it, haven't you? And if a buyer abandons a sales cart with a load of products in it, then the abandoned cart automation clicks in and says, you've abandoned your cart, but here's one last chance to buy something valuable. And then, once hooked on a downsell, you make a new purchase, and then in comes the next cross-sell or upsell. Internet technology makes it very easy to automate all of this, and the psychology of easy purchase makes it very easy for customers to succumb. If you're working online, it's also worth knowing the terminology of an order bump. An order bump is a cross-sell that a customer can trigger from the purchase page. Once they've agreed to make the purchase and they're just about to buy, then that cross-sell offer appears and they can add it to their basket with no friction at all. The last thing to talk about is why this is so appealing to customers. And of course, it's all about human psychology, and there are 2 principal factors at play here. And the first of them is what psychologist Robert Cialdini calls commitment and consistency. If I've committed to making a purchase, then I am more likely to act in a way that is consistent with the commitment I've made. I value your product, you offer me another one. Wouldn't it be a little inconsistent of me to say I don't value that other product? So commitment and consistency makes it very easy for me to want to buy something when I've already bought something from you, a related product. And there's a second psychological factor that makes it even easier to slip an additional sale, particularly a small, low-value cross-sell, through my psychological defenses. And that's called Weber's Law. Weber's Law says we very rarely notice a small marginal increase in something, whether it's size or time or cost. The key to using Weber's Law in upsells and cross-sells is to make a small marginal increase in a cost for a relatively high perceived additional value. But the marginal increase in cost has to be relative to the base cost. You may not haggle over the marginal cost of $1,000 when you're buying a house for $500,000, but you would certainly argue over $1,000 on the cost of a $50,000 car. But maybe you wouldn't haggle over $100 or $200 on the price of the car, but you would on the price of a $1,000 or $2,000 camera. But while you're spending $1,000 or $2,000, you wouldn't haggle over buying an extra $10 accessory which keeps the lens clean or protects it in some way. But would you as easily make a $10 upgrade on the cost of a $10 bottle of wine? Why is it so easy for me to buy an extra tie if I've already committed to buying a suit and a shirt? Because the cost of the tie seems marginal. It's almost like I'm getting it for free psychologically. Taking together Weber's Law with the principle of commitment and consistency, it's very easy to see how skilled salespeople and skilled marketers can make that extra little order bump, can create that extra cross-sell or upsell to add a small value to the sale that they've just made. But the best thing about upsells and cross-sells is that they add to your profit margin as well as to your revenue. If you are going to sell, you have to plan for the upsell, you have to plan for the cross-sell, and you certainly have to plan for the downsell if you're in fear of losing any sale at all. Please do give this video a like if you've learned from it or if you've enjoyed it. I'll be creating loads more great management courses videos for you, so please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of them. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and in the meantime, keep learning.